Greetings from Columbia, South Carolina. Welcome into the Colonial Life Arena for the 2016 SCHSL Class 4A Boys State Basketball Championship as the 24-4 Irmo Yellow Jackets tangle with the 24-4 Rebels of Byrnes High School. Hello, everybody. I am Birch Antley, joined by Emerson Phillips. Thanks so much for joining us here on the NFHS Network. Well, Emerson, we've got the number 1 ranked Irmo Yellow Jackets, the number 3 ranked Byrnes Rebels. Let's take a look first at the Rebels from Byrnes High School out of Spartanburg, South Carolina, and they are led by a very intimidating force in the post.
It's an interesting matchup tonight, Birch. Neither team had a player make All-State. We had 16 kids make All-State. Neither team had a player make All-State. So these two teams played true team ball. And when we start with Irmo basketball, we start with R.J. Gunn, a 6'6" junior. He'll play the post. He can score it down low. Very strong player, very physical player. He'll be one of the leaders tonight for Irmo.
Yeah, head coach Tim Whipple for the Irmo Yellow Jackets really hoping for good things from R.J. Gunn. Now let's look at Byrnes out of Spartanburg. Their coach was here as a player the last time that Byrnes played for a state championship. That was 26 years ago.
All the way back in 1993. Byrnes has not been to the championship since that year, so they're back this year under Coach Lane Fowler, and their key player tonight is Tyreek Glenn. Part of a balanced Byrnes attack, one of 3 players that averaged 12 points a ball game. Glenn, a North-South All-Star, and again, team ball for both teams, Birch. There are no superstars. It's team defense and offense. It's going to be a great matchup tonight.
Well, the last time Byrnes was here, as you said, it was back in 1993 when they lost to Hillcrest of Dalzell, a team that was led by future NBA star Ray Allen. Meanwhile, the Irmo Yellow Jackets, they were here just a few years ago when they won it all against Goose Creek.
Yeah, they were undefeated that year, and Coach Tim Whipple trying to win his 6th state championship at Irmo, and that will make him the first coach in 4A boys history here in South Carolina with 6 state titles. He's currently tied with Mark Huff from Gaffney. So history will be made tonight, Birch. Championship weekend, always fun in the capital city.
Well, Emerson, for one of these teams to take home the hardware, what do they have to do? You've got our keys to the game.
Keys to victory for Byrnes. Well, we'll start with Irmo. They're going to have to keep Byrnes off the offensive glass. Byrnes, the best offensive rebounding team that Irmo has faced all year, according to Coach Whipple. And Irmo will try to stick to their team scheme, balanced scoring, no great individual scoring threat, so they're going to have to spread it out on offense. For Byrnes, team defense will be critical. I talked with Coach Fowler earlier in the week. He said they need to attack Irmo's 2-3 zone, find some gaps in that zone. Irmo plays patented 2-3 zone defense, much like Syracuse and Jim Boeheim, and they're going to be tough to attack tonight. Byrnes will try to find a way. All
right, well, we are moments away from tip-off here in Columbia, South Carolina, as we look in at that bench. Tim Whipple, the head coach in his 36th year for the Irmo Yellow Jackets, and here is his starting 5. 2 guards, Tavon Bond and Drayvon Sweat. R.J. Gunn, Noah Jenkins, Tony Bryce make up a very, very good front court for the Irmo Yellow Jackets. Meanwhile, for head coach Lane Fowler, who was a player for the Byrnes Rebels the last time they played for a state championship. Let's take a look at their starting 5. They'll go with 2 guards and 3 forwards as well. Jalen Foster and Bouvier Howard, the 2 guards. Then Ray Miller, Tyreek Glenn, and Hayden Brown make up the 3 forwards.
Right, Byrnes will play as many as 8 or 9 players tonight. You know, they go deep on the bench, and again, a balanced scoring attack. The top 3 scorers all average 12 a game. That's Glenn, Hayden Brown, and Ray Miller. And Bouvier Howard averages 11. So it's going to be an interesting contrast of styles here tonight, Birch. Which team can impose its will on the other? Byrnes, long known as a football powerhouse in this state. You know, they produce some incredible Division I college football talent. When you think about Marcus Lattimore and Prince Miller and Willie Corn played up at Clemson for a short stint, and Byrnes a football power. They're known for their football. They're trying to make a name for themselves in boys basketball this year. Coach Fowler has helped them do that, and this big senior class that they've got have helped Byrnes reach the title for the first time since '93. Byrnes has not won a state title since 1990, Birch. They got 2 in school history, but none since 1990.
Well, we are underway. Byrnes moving left to right in the whites. Irmo in the black with the white trim, and there's a shot from the left elbow. Misses the mark, but Jalen Foster goes high for the rebound. Number 11 for Byrnes. Foster getting his own miss, and Byrnes strikes first. It's 2-0.
Inside bucket, that's what Byrnes is looking for. You don't want to settle for outside shots against a good defensive team, a good 2-3 zone team. And we talked about finding gaps in that zone. Byrnes did it right off.
There's a shot just inside the three-point line for Tavon Bond. And here comes Byrnes off and running after collecting the defensive rebound. Irmo looking at a 2-3 zone on defense. Byrnes, Jalen Foster running the point guard position. He'll whip it right side. Now they work it inside, and they get it down to Hayden Brown. That's an easy bucket in the paint for the 6'4 junior Hayden Brown.
Hayden Brown, he might be captain of the all-hair team here in 2016, Birch.
Certainly does have some nice locks flowing. The junior Hayden Brown, 6'4", had 14 points in the Upper State Championship game against Spring Valley. That shot off the mark from R.J. Gunn. And once again, getting the defensive rebound is Byrnes, and skying to the hole is Hayden Brown, his second consecutive bucket.
Hayden Brown, some kind of an athlete. He's a standout lacrosse player. He's got college offers to play lacrosse at a number of major schools. Also got a 3.8 grade point average, taking AP classes at Byrnes High.
And there's a big block right there by Hayden Brown, and he has good hair to boot. What more can you ask for?
Fantastic hair.
Jalen Foster on the kick out. Now Brown, top of the key, launches a three. Bang! Hayden Brown on fire here early.
Oh, the Hayden Brown show early on tonight at the Colonial Life, and he's got this Byrnes crowd out of Duncan, South Carolina, up on their feet.
Byrnes opening up a 9-0 lead on the number 1 ranked team in the state. And there's a takeaway by Brown. Brown with the steal. Hayden Brown, nice little skip pass ahead, but it's batted out of bounds out of the hands of Tyreek Glenn.
Great job hustling back by Irmo. They don't want to let this thing get out of hand here. Byrnes trying to blow the roof off of his joint right here in the first quarter. And an excellent effort play by Irmo to get back and stop a fast break opportunity for Byrnes. But how about this start for the Rebels? They are hungry for a state championship, Birch. It's been a long time.
Tell you what, break out your old Blind Melon records, because Hayden Brown's got that whole Shannon Hoon thing going. 5:45 to play in the first quarter. Byrnes 9-0. Let's take a look at these highlights from Hayden Brown.
Hayden Brown, 6'4" forward, 11th grader, scoring off the window on the inside. Now running a fast break, avoided some contact there, able to lay it in on the left side. And now he's going to get a block shot right here. Block the shot of R.J. Gunn, and going to pop a top key three. He can step out to long range as well. What a start for Byrnes.
Byrnes ranked number 3 in the state of South Carolina in the final regular season poll. Here's Brown with a lay-in from the left side off the entry pass.
9 of the first 11 for Byrnes scored by Hayden Brown. Byrnes couldn't have asked for a better start, Byrnes. This is unreal the way they've come out hot like this.
Tavon Bond wants to end the drought for Irmo, and he drains the three-pointer from the top of the arc.
Now Irmo will keep its composure. This is an experienced ball club, an Irmo program that is accustomed to playing for championships. And even though this group has not been a part of one, although the 2013 team, several of the seniors for Irmo were on that 2013 team and did play some minutes in that championship game. So they're not going away.
Jalen Foster, lay-in attempt is not there, and a big rebound for Irmo and R.J. Gunn. Gunn puts it up, the right-handed floater. Check it, that's Tony Bryce, the senior, with his first bucket of the game, and it's 11-5, a 6-point lead now for the Byrnes Rebels.
Yeah, and Irmo's kind of leveled things off a little bit here, getting some offense going, and I think we'll start to find the rhythm that this game will take for the full 32 minutes here, Birch.
Tyreek Glenn kicks it over to Ray Miller. Now back to Glenn for 3, right side. Bangs out of there, and the rebound collected by Ray Miller. Miller launches a 3-ball off the mark, and Noah Jenkins climbs the ladder for Irmo, and it's Irmo basketball with 4:15 to play. Irmo trailing Byrnes 11-5.
Tim Whipple said Byrnes has no weaknesses. The most complete team that Irmo's faced all year, and they certainly looked that way early on.
Long three-pointer from Sweat, and Hayden Brown rather, climbs the ladder, and he gets the rebound here for Byrnes.
Byrnes averaging 72 points a ball game. They like to get up and down.
Here's Bouvier Howard, number 5. One of the best names you'll see all weekend here in the Weekend of Champions. Bouvier Howard, the senior guard, trying to pick up the screen. And Irmo collects the miss. Irmo working with Noah Jenkins. Jenkins being checked by Miller. And there's an Irmo basket.
Trayvon Sweat. That was Bryce, I'm sorry, off the feed from Noah Jenkins. So Irmo found a little soft spot in the Byrnes defense there, and it all started on the other end, the rebound by Drayvon Sweat. Sweat, guard, wing player, getting back with the bigs to help on defensive glass.
Here's Brown inside, and another bucket for the 6'4 junior, Hayden Brown, getting off to a hot start here at the Colonial Life Arena.
He's got 11 of Byrnes' 13, by my count, unofficially.
A couple of rebounds, an assist, and a block shot, too. 13-7, Byrnes with the lead. Irmo basketball to our left. Nice little cutter inside. Drayvon Sweat, who averages 13 points per game, had 4 points in the lower state championship down in Florence last weekend over West Ashley.
Tough shot by Sweat. A little double clutch move, hanging in the air.
13-9, Byrnes with the lead and the basketball. Driving in is Jalen Foster. Here's the kick out. Ray Miller for three. Pulls the string on it, and it's Irmo basketball. Quickly ahead with Bond, Tavon Bond. Whips it over to the left side. A little head fake there from Bryce, and now over to Jenkins, as Irmo now is going to work around the perimeter. Irmo trying to work the low post.
That's Tyreek Glenn with the block shot. 6'3" forward. Saying, not in my house, not tonight. Irmo tried to back him down in the block, and he would just not have it. He swatted it out of bounds. Glenn's a North-South All-Star.
Winston Hill, Shaheem Edwards, and Jalen Wilson check in now for Irmo off the bench. Winston Hill, a sophomore, Edwards the junior, and Jalen Wilson, a senior, who averages 2 assists per game. Now, this is a team that Tim Whipple has, Emerson Phillips, for Irmo, that, it's not led by one individual star. And boy, has Irmo and Tim Whipple had a ton of those, especially at the guard position. It's really a collective, a community of Yellow Jackets, a whole nest, if you will, this year that has contributed to that number one ranking and this berth in the state championship.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They've got 6 seniors on this team, and a handful of juniors as well, and it's just kids that have come through one of the most successful programs in the state. Bert, you can make an argument that Irmo is the top program in South Carolina in boys basketball. I think Keenan is up there, and certainly there's some others you could talk about. But, who's winning more titles lately than Irmo? They won it in 2011, and they went undefeated in 2013.
Three-pointer off the right side, and Jalen Foster goes up for the offensive board. They keep it alive for Byrnes. Ray Miller now over to Brown. Now they'll whip it left side. Foster. He's bottled up and has his pocket picked, and it's Irmo basketball down by 4, 13-9, with 1:25 remaining in the first.
And Birch, this is a relatively new group for Irmo. These kids have not been major players on a championship team, but they did win it in 2013, and some of these kids were on that team. So it's just a winning program with a winning tradition, and these kids come through Irmo. They join the basketball program. They expect to be champions. So it's in their blood.
This is the 10th title game for Irmo. All 5 of their state championships won with Tim Whipple as the head coach.
That's right. First one, 1991. 1-2 with B.J. Mackey in the early 90s, and then back-to-back with, 11 and 13 with B.J.'s son, Justin.
Miller for 3. Count it from the right wing, and Byrnes leads now 16-9, and a steal by Foster. Foster challenging R.J. Gunn, and it's out of bounds.
Foster came up with the steal. This is a Shrine Bowl cornerback on the Byrnes football team this past season. He's a Gardner-Webb football signee.
You are watching live coverage of the South Carolina High School League State Basketball Championships here on the NFHS Network. NFHSnetwork.com/SCHSL, your destination for the most comprehensive coverage of South Carolina High School playoff action. As Irmo comes up with a loose ball, Jalen Wilson. Now a three-pointer, left elbow, count it for Tavon Bond.
Bond and Sweat hitting shots from the outside, and that's great news for Irmo. They fell behind big early tonight, a 9-0 Byrnes run to start the game, but now Irmo back to within 4.
Bond likes his three-pointers shaken, not stirred.
Of course.
12 seconds remaining. Byrnes going to play for the last shot here in the first. Ray Miller will handle. Now left wing, Jalen Foster bottled up. Irmo comes away with the steal, but Byrnes keeps it alive.
Great
there will
defense.
not be a shot
Great
as the
defense.
first period comes to a close with Byrnes behind Hayden Brown, leading Irmo by 4, 16-12 here on the NFHS Network.
Now you can... Now you can create your own tour of Italy at Olive Garden, starting at $12.99. Choose 3 of 10 favorites to enjoy on one plate, plus unlimited salad and breadsticks. The best tour of Italy is the one you create at Olive Garden.
Second period underway here from Columbia in the Colonial Life Arena. Birch, Antley, Emerson, Phillips with you here on the NFHS Network as Byrnes behind 11 points from Hayden Brown, leading Irmo 16-12, and Byrnes with the basketball moving left to right. Byrnes out of Duncan, South Carolina in the white, ranked number 3 in the state of South Carolina in the final regular season poll by the South Carolina Basketball Coaches Association. Irmo ranked number 1, both of these teams with identical records, 24-4. Jalen Foster driving in and weaves his way through traffic and is able to get the turnaround.
A physical play in the low post by Foster. He's in traffic, able to get it up and off the glass and in.
Emerson, you mentioned Byrnes being a football power. There's a three-pointer front rim from Tavon Bond. They've got 2 wide receivers running this offense in Jalen Foster and Ray Miller.
Yeah, that's right. Byrnes making a name for himself in basketball here. Birch, they got some quality athletes on this team. Young man that has not been in a ball game yet. We're not sure if he's going to play. Is Christian Eitel, who is headed to the Naval Academy, suffered a stress fracture in his foot. He's dressed tonight. Not sure if he's going to be able to play.
Three-pointer from R.J. Gunn rims out, and Byrnes comes down with another defensive rebound and quickly ahead in transition as Drake Morgan is there to finish up the miss as he just checked into the game and gets a big offensive rebound and a stick back.
Drake Morgan, 6'1" guard, a junior, comes in off the bench for Coach Lane Fowler. Coach Fowler is a Byrnes graduate and a College of Charleston grad.
Missed shot, air ball into the hands of Byrnes. Byrnes, Bouvier Howard trying to split the defenders, and he knocks it down in traffic. That is a very tough shot to make in the paint like that.
Bouvier Howard with the bucket. Not just a good ball player, a fine student with a 3.7 GPA in the classroom.
Here's Irmo now. Three-pointer, count it. Noah Jenkins.
Irmo staying in this game on the strength of their three-point shooting early here, Birch. They have hit some threes, and they're still down 9.
24-15, just underway here in the second period. Byrnes with Jalen Foster over to Bouvier Howard. 2-3 zone for Irmo. Byrnes ready to check in. 2 substitutions at the next stoppage. One of those being Hayden Brown, who was lights out in the first for Lane Fowler and the Byrnes Rebels. Baseline drive, off the glass, count it. Drake Morgan again. 4 points off the bench for Morgan. Byrnes leads 26-15. Left wing, Tony Bryce gives it away now to Sweat. Now Irmo back at the top of the key. Bond wants another 3. Count it from the top. Second three-pointer for Tavon Bond, who averages 13 points per game. Only had 3 points in the lower state final. Making a contribution here is Lane Fowler wants a timeout for Byrnes with the score. Rebels 26, Irmo Yellow Jackets 18.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about with Irmo. You know, it's been a different player that has led them at different times throughout the course of the season. Coach Whipple talked about it when I spoke with him on the phone this week. I asked him, I said, what player should we highlight, Coach? He said, well, you probably go with R.J. Gunn because he had 20 and 10 in the state semifinal victory. You see the road to the championship here for Irmo. Lopsided wins over Goose Creek and Irmo, and a 16-point winner over Carolina Forest in the quarters. And then they really controlled from the outset against West Ashley. An interesting note in that game, Birch, Irmo won handily, and West Ashley coached by Ronnie Dupree, who got his first coaching job through Tim Whipple many years ago, and they're best friends. So I think it was a difficult situation for them, being that they're very close, but I know Coach Whipple was very excited for West Ashley. They're sort of newcomers on the Final Four basketball scene here in South Carolina, and Irmo laid it on them pretty good, but great season for West Ashley. And you know, Coach Whipple talked about the fact that it's just been a different guy for them virtually every night this year, but they're going to need everybody to improve play as this night goes on if they're going to win the state title, because Byrnes has come in like a buzzsaw.
And that Tim Whipple coaching tree stretches out long and wide throughout the state of South Carolina. John Combs, the head coach over at Ridgeview High School, who played against his old coach Tim Whipple in a state championship that Irmo won back in 2011, led by Jordan Roper.
That's right. Roper in his final year playing for the Clemson Tigers. In fact, Clemson had senior night the other night. I know that Coach Whipple's wife was there. I'm not sure if Coach Whipple himself was there or not. He may have been.
And that's a special order tie that he's got on right there. You don't see very many of those, the palmetto tree, in those colors unless you're Tim Whipple. You can make that phone call and get that done. 36-year head coach, as you get a good look right there at Bouvier Howard at the free throw line. He's a 64% free throw shooter. 27-18, Byrnes leading.
Got to give Byrnes credit where it's due, but we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the substantial contributions of Tim Whipple to the game in our state. You mentioned his 35th year as head coach. He's a Spring Valley grad and an Erskine grad. And when I spoke with him the other night, Birch,
big three-pointer there by Drayvon Sweat.
I asked him, I said, how much longer do you think you're going to continue to coach? He said, as long as I have players who are as passionate about the game and about life as I am, I will continue to coach. And he's a relatively spry guy who, for considering he's been around so long, Birch.
Dribble drive off the mark for Byrnes and Bouvier Howard, but they keep it alive, working the offensive rebounds. Good job on that offensive glass for the Byrnes Rebels. Whip it around right side. Looking to find Hayden Brown in the paint, but that's going to be a carry. To purchase a DVD keepsake copy of today's event, be sure to click on the blue Get the DVD button, which is directly under your event in the video player, or you just click on the Buy a DVD button, which is on the top right-hand corner of the NFHS Network website. Check out our entire library of South Carolina High School League Championship events at nfhsnetwork.com/SCHSL.
Irmo draws the foul here. They're going to get a couple of foul shots. Dribble drive by Jalen Wilson. Guard coming off the bench, a senior who has come in and given Irmo a little bit of a spark here, and he played well in the lower state championship win last Saturday at the Florence Civic Center. But Birch, has been the Hayden Brown show for Byrnes. Gardner Webb and Wofford are looking at him, and he is a lacrosse standout, but based on his play tonight, he may be getting some looks in basketball too if his play continues. 11 of the first 13 for Byrnes. They jumped out to a 9-0 lead tonight, and the lead right now is 6 points.
Jalen Wilson knocks down the free throws, and it's 28-22, 6-point lead here for Byrnes, and it's Byrnes basketball with 3:09 to go in the half. Left elbow three. Count it. Ray Miller, a 39% three-point shooter who has put up 145 three balls coming into this game.
Yes, sir.
Knocks that one down.
Yes, sir. He's a long-range specialist.
Irmo trying to work inside along that baseline, and a tie-up. Possession arrow goes to the Irmo Yellow Jackets. Our officials tonight, our referee, Ron Durrell, and the umpires, Darrell Warren and Mike Owen.
That's an important shot by Ray Miller, that three that he just made. Byrnes comes out house of fire.
Boom, there's a three-pointer again from Drayvon Sweat.
Irmo had kind of settled down, cut it to 6. Miller hits the 3 for Byrnes, and now Irmo answers right back with a 3 of its own.
Lead back to 6 for Byrnes. Irmo, a very streaky three-point shooting team.
There's only been 4 fouls called in this game. It's been good, clean, physical basketball at the high school level.
Well, Irmo gets hot from three-point land. Watch out, but hold the phone. Ray Miller draining one here, and Byrnes getting warmed up from behind the arc too.
The Byrnes long rifle, Ray Miller for another 3.
Stop and pop there for Shaheem Edwards. And we've got a whistle. That is going to be contact. It will be called, going for the loose ball. Just our 5th foul of the game. Let's take another look at this big three-pointer here.
Inside to outside, Birch, and that extra pass around the three-point line gets Miller another open look, and he's hit consecutive 3s now for Byrnes. Irmo had cut it to 6. Ray Miller single-handedly keeping Byrnes out in front by 9 here.
He hit 5 of those against Spring Valley in that three-point win for Byrnes to advance to the state championship game. Brown inside, took one dribble, maybe one dribble too much. And it's Irmo basketball in transition. Here come the Yellow Jackets, and an easy right-handed lay-in for Shaheem Edwards.
From Jalen Wilson, Irmo running the break, sharing the basketball.
34-27. Lead for Byrnes.
Dangerous, very close.
Irmo with a little half-court trap. Byrnes able to break free. Bouvier Howard, right side. Ray Miller wants another 3. Too long, and the rebound collected by Irmo as it goes into the hands of Tony Bryce. And Bryce will relinquish it out to Jalen Wilson with under a minute to play here in the half. Quick moving first half of championship basketball here for the 4A title. Number 1 versus number 3. And Byrnes leading 34-27. Rebound for Byrnes and Jalen Foster. Jalen Foster, a wide receiver on that Byrnes football team, who is committed to play football for Gardner-Webb University next year. Foster kicks it down to Hayden Brown, and he is tied up, draws the double team from Tavon Bond.
Right.
Jalen Wilson.
Irmo's made a little bit of an adjustment, I think a little more cognizant of the presence of Hayden Brown. You come in, you score 11 or 13 to start the ball game, you get people's attention, Birch. So Irmo took a timeout earlier, and they're paying more attention defensively to Hayden Brown. And it's made a difference.
15 seconds to play before halftime. And that ball is thrown away. And it will be Byrnes basketball with 11.6 to go. Coming up at halftime, we'll have a special guest joining us. We'll have a conversation with the Chief Operating Officer of the NFHS, Davis Whitfield, as time expires in the first half with Byrnes leading Irmo 34-27 from some hot shooting from downtown and some big play in the post from Hayden Brown. Stay with us. We'll be right back in a moment here on the NFHS Network.
Olive Garden. Olive Garden is proud to be the official dining room of high school sports. With menu choices to please the entire family, as well as to-go and catering options, it's the perfect restaurant for your post-game dining. To find your nearest location or to order your meal online, visit olivegarden.com.
Now you can create your own tour of Italy from Olive Garden's most mouth-watering dishes, starting at $12.99. Choose 3 of 10 classic favorites to enjoy on one plate, like our delicious new shrimp ravioli with lobster alfredo, a filled pasta like irresistible tortellini al forno, and a classic like creamy fettuccine alfredo, plus unlimited salad and freshly baked breadsticks, because the best tour of Italy is the one you create, only at Olive Garden. We're all family here. Breadstick lovers, your new favorite lunches here. Breadstick sandwiches.
Coaches teach your kids to dream. Coaches teach your kids to overcome. Coaches teach your kids good sportsmanship. Coaches teach your kids proper technique. But who teaches your coaches?
William Shakespeare said that all the world's a stage, and men and women are merely players. But Mr. Shakespeare never met Stephen Curry. Ni hao, the guy who was in the gym every dang day. Patron saint of the underdog, the league's most unguardable player. Bang, he knocks it down. So my apologies to Mr. Shakespeare, because onto the stage of mere players enters the babyface assassin. And he's about to write his own story. Fall back.
This game is brought to you by Under Armour, maker of the world's best apparel, footwear, and accessories. Check out the full line of performance gear now at UA.com. Under Armour, I will.
You know, the Greek philosopher Aristotle said, you are what you repeatedly do. But in our book, we say you are what you repeatedly do when things get hard. When you look at the naysayers and the haters, and there's a million of them, but you take it upon yourself to erase all doubt. Get that doubt out of here. So my apologies to Aristotle, but excellence doesn't become a habit by running the same path over and over. The excellent ones just step up to the line and ask, what's the record? Under Armour, get your feet straight.
All right, team, listen up. Effective immediately. You'll all be joining my team, the NFHS Network. If it happens in high school, we got it covered. We've got your favorite high school sports wherever you want them, whenever you want them. Streaming live or on demand. Plus, with a few well-executed moves here, and here, you can find and follow your favorite school or team. Only on the NFHS Network.
Now you can create your own tour of Italy from Olive Garden's most mouth-watering dishes, starting at $12.99. Choose 3 of 10 classic favorites to enjoy on one plate, like our delicious new shrimp ravioli with lobster alfredo, a filled pasta like irresistible tortellini al forno, and a classic like creamy fettuccine alfredo, plus unlimited salad and freshly baked breadsticks, because the best tour of Italy is the one you create, only at Olive Garden. We're all family here. Breadstick lovers, your new favorite lunches here. Breadstick sandwiches.
Halftime in Columbia in the 4A Boys State Basketball Championship, number 1 versus number 3. And right now, the number 3 ranked Byrnes Rebels getting the best of the number 1 ranked Irmo Yellow Jackets. 34-27, Byrnes with the lead at halftime. Hello again, everybody. I am Burr Chantley. What an honor to be joined by the Chief Operating Officer of the NFHS, the National Federation of High Schools, from Indianapolis, Indiana. We know Indiana has a good brand of basketball, especially in the high school level there and all around the Midwest. But right now, all eyes are on South Carolina. We love having you here in the Palmetto State. Davis Whitfield, thanks for joining us. What do you think about South Carolina high school basketball so far?
Well, Birch, I tell you, it's quite a spectacle right now with the athletes you have on the floor, and certainly the brand of basketball that I'm seeing. It rivals any state that I've seen across the country.
Well, the National Federation of High Schools in charge of supporting high school athletics, promoting high school athletics, making sure that the rules are abided by the thousands and thousands of student athletes that compete in dozens of high school sports throughout the year, throughout America. Your role with the NFHS and how it floats down here to South Carolina, and what the South Carolina High School League and Jerome Singleton and his staff mean to your organization.
Sure. Well, I serve as the Chief Operating Officer for the NFHS and essentially handle the day-to-day operations of our organization. And we wouldn't exist without South Carolina High School League and the other 50 associations across this country. They govern themselves in their own states. In D.C., the buck stops, as they say, with the high school league in South Carolina and our other associations, and we try to support them, as you mentioned, Birch, in promoting the message of high school athletics and promoting these young people and promoting leadership, sportsmanship, integrity, honesty, the values of high school athletics. And it's been a tremendous honor to be at the NFHS. I've been there 8 months. And it's been a wonderful 8 months in my working career.
Well, Jerome Singleton has always said that high school athletics is an extension of the classroom. And that really is the goal of the NFHS, the National Federation of High Schools, promoting scholarship, promoting sportsmanship, promoting character.
That's correct. You know, we've got a staff of 40. And the core of our business is actually writing the playing rules across the country. So we write the playing rules for every sport that's played across the United States, and our 51 state associations abide by those rules. and certainly South Carolina, with the leadership of Jerome Singleton, does a wonderful job of providing opportunities for young people, both in activities as well as athletics, and he runs a great ship here in South Carolina. And Jerome is on our board of directors. Our board of directors is made up of one representative across the country. Our nation is divided into 8 sections. Jerome is in Section 3, and he's been a leader on our board of directors in terms of policy, procedure, rules writing, and does a tremendous job. Very involved, very passionate, and wants to see young people succeed and live their dream.
We'll talk about, if you can, quickly, the partnership between Play On Sports, the NFHS Network, and the NFHS. David Rudolph, Robert Rothberg with Play On Sports and the NFHS Network. This has been a dream that's been a long time in the making. And whether you're in Bangor, Maine, or Blythewood, South Carolina, or even Barrow, Alaska, you can follow state championships and regular season games in all of the sports on the NFHS Network.
Bert, you make a great point. Because of the NFHS Network, you can follow any sport across the country and see it live on your TV, on your computer, on your iPhone, because of the NFHS Network. The NFHS Network allows us opportunities such as tonight to be able to see tremendous athletic opportunities across this country. It's been a great way for us to tell our story and to talk about the young people in our programs, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to broadcast high school athletics across the world and across the nation and across the country.
Well, welcome to South Carolina. We appreciate you being here. Davis Whitfield with the National Federation of High Schools. We'll return with the start of our second half, and we come back to Columbia here on the NFHS Network.
Now you can create your own tour of Italy at Olive Garden, starting at $12.99. Choose 3 of 10 favorites to enjoy on one plate, plus unlimited salad and breadsticks. The best tour of Italy is the one you create at Olive Garden.
Welcome back to Columbia, South Carolina, as we get you ready for the start of the second half. The Byrnes Rebels leading the Irmo Yellow Jackets 34-27. Birch Antley and Emerson Phillips back with you here on the NFHS Network from the Colonial Life Arena. The first night of the weekend of champions. Byrnes and Irmo, some hot shooting from both teams, but Emerson Phillips, Byrnes, and this guy right here, Hayden Brown, they got started early, went off to a 9-0 run.
5 players scored for Byrnes, but it was Hayden Brown that got it started. He scored 11 of their first 13, and we're getting a look at some of his scoring in the early part of the ball game here. Irmo countered with a bucket right there, and R.J. Gunn going with a pass here to Drayvon Sweat, and now it's Noah Jenkins from outside. Irmo hit 6 threes in the first half, or they might be getting run out of here tonight. Birch, they showed a lot of composure after falling behind early. There's a top key 3 by Drayvon Sweat. And now it's Hayden Brown over onto the left wing. They go to Ray Miller, who hit back-to-back threes for Byrnes. Byrnes made 4 threes of their own. So steal here for Irmo, and that's Jalen Wilson off of the bench, dropping a dime over to his teammate for the layup. 7-point game here at halftime.
We are underway here in the second half. As you're right, Irmo hitting 6 3-pointers, 50% from behind the arc. Byrnes 4 of 11 shooting from downtown for 36.4%.
And only 5 fouls called in the first half. We remarked, what a clean first half of play that was.
There you have it. 10 of 33 from the field for Irmo, 14 of 34 for Byrnes. How about those rebounds on the Byrnes side of the docket there, Emerson? 22-10. Out-rebounding Irmo by 12.
Punishing Irmo on the glass, and that's why they've got 11 more field goal attempts. You see the field goal attempts, 34-23, and turnovers, relatively small number for both teams, but 11 more shots put up by Byrnes in the first half. Coach Whipple said Byrnes is the best offensive rebounding team we've seen all year, and they really proved that in the first half.
Tyreek Glenn, the North-South All-Star, the 6'3 senior, knocks down the free throw, and it's Byrnes leading now 35-27 as we switch sides of the court. It is Irmo driving left to right in the black with the white and yellow trim. Byrnes, the home team here tonight, in the white with the Rebels emblazoned over the chest in blue, outlined in red. Byrnes from Duncan, South Carolina, J.F. Byrnes High School, named after James F. Byrnes, a former South Carolina governor, Supreme Court justice, I believe, as well. And that shot rattles out of there from R.J. Gunn. R.J. Gunn is yet to get warmed up, Emerson. R.J. Gunn with no points as of yet.
Yeah, and that's where Byrnes has done a fantastic job defensively. You know, Gunn had his way against West Ashley last week, and Byrnes just not letting him get going in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, he had a double-double in that lower state championship, 20 points, 10 boards. On the inbounds, Bouvier Howard. Irmo drops back to a 2-3 zone. He's been in that defensive formation all night long. There's Jalen Foster, left side, trying to find a cutter in the paint. Hayden Brown comes up with it and kicks it back out to Jalen Foster. Foster now, left-handed dribble, and the right-handed shot is good. 6:28 to play in the third. Byrnes extends that lead out to 10.
And we see one of the keys to the game that we talked about in the open tonight. Byrnes trying to attack the gaps in the zone defense of Irmo. And Foster did it there, drove in on the left side, score with the right.
And again, Byrnes coming up with a defensive rebound. They really have, as you said, just been punishing Irmo off the glass.
They've owned the glass, a 2-1, better than a 2-1 rebounding advantage, and that means no second chance opportunities for Irmo, where Byrnes has had several to this point, early third quarter.
There's Bouvier Howard, skip pass over the right side to Tyreek Glenn. Kick out to Miller for three, too short, but here's Hayden Brown. Count it and put him in the line. Hayden Brown with 13 points.
Yeah, nice head fake to draw not one but two defenders off the floor. And, you know, when we hear people talking about high basketball IQ, that's the kind of play we're talking about. The head fake to get the defenders off and create some space for Brown to not only get the shot but draw the foul as well. Smart play.
And he'll finish the three-point play, knocking down the free throw.
And Birch, you know, Irmo did a good job getting out to defend and open three for Ray Miller. Ray Miller is a three-point sharpshooter, and if Irmo lets him get free shots tonight, he's going to kill him. But they got out and partially blocked that shot, and Brown was able to get to that block shot first.
Almost taken away. It is going to be a turnover. Travel whistled on Irmo, and Byrnes now with their largest lead of the game at 13. With 5:28 to play.
Yeah, great start to this second half. Byrnes led 9-0 to start the ball game, 16-12 at the end of the first quarter, and 34-27 at halftime. So they have pushed it open here to a 13-point lead.
Half-court press by Irmo, but Byrnes beats it. Here comes Jalen Foster, a little kick out to Glenn. Glenn bottled up over in the corner. Now Miller wants a three ball. Bounces out of there. And possession will go to the Irmo Yellow Jackets. The Byrnes Rebels, they have never won a 4A state championship. They've got two 3A state titles. Knocked off Burke back in 1990, and then in 1976 they defeated Butler High School, which was out of Hartsville, South Carolina. Finished as 4A runners-up in 1993, losing to Hillcrest of Dalzell, the team led by Ray Allen.
The great Ray Allen.
And then lost in 1979 to Dreer.
Ray Allen's made more threes than anybody in the history of the NBA. And he's from Hillcrest High School in Dalzell, South Carolina, over in Sumter County.
Byrnes finished 3A runners-up in 1983, in 1977, and 1969.
It was 79, I believe, Birch, and I went to that game. Birch, I was a youngster, and Byrnes played Dreer at Lower Richland High School. That game was played, I believe it was 1979.
Yep.
And Dreer won that game over at the LR Gym at the Diamond Mine. But Byrnes obviously known for its football, and that may change starting tonight. Another look at the foul. Hayden Brown back to the line.
Brown, 71% free throw shooter. bangs it in there with 4:44 to play, and Byrnes stretches that lead out now, 42-27. Kick out Irmo, now driving baseline and too strong, and Jalen Foster comes away with it for the Byrnes Rebels. Here's Hayden Brown now. Right wing over to Bouvier Howard. Howard going into the paint, gives it away to Brown. Left-handed leaner is not there. And it's out of bounds to Irmo. That 1979 game you were there, that was back in the Xavier McDaniel years, early years of the X-Man, I guess, over at Dreher High School, and Tyrone Corbin and those guys.
Yeah, and you were right. Byrnes was 3A runner-up in 69, 4A runner-up in 79. So just wanted to clarify that. Yeah, but we had a great run of basketball in the 80s here. When you think about the X-Man and Ty Corbin and Alex English and so many others, Birch. We really do have a strong basketball history in this state.
Here's a steal by Foster. Jalen Foster is going to take it himself, and finishing is Hayden Brown on the trailer. And it's 44-27 now. Byrnes leading big. Irmo trying to go strong inside behind Winston Hill, the 6'5 sophomore, averages 5 points a game, had 2 points against West Ashley. For Irmo, this is their 10th state championship game. They've won 5 titles, all under head coach Tim Whipple. Finished as a runner-up in 1996, 92, 1990, and 1975, and they lost to Keenan. Here's Jalen Foster, and look at this finish right here by Hayden Brown. Trailing the play, and that's what happens when you have court awareness like that. Fight for the loose ball. Irmo will come up with a rebound. Straightaway three. Shaheem Edwards off to the right side, and it's Byrnes basketball.
A 10-1 Byrnes run to open the third quarter. And now Irmo is really going to be tested the rest of the way. Coach Whipple said that resiliency was one of the trademark characteristics of this team. They have found a way to win all year, and they are really going to be challenged to find a way to come back from a 16-point deficit in the 4A championship game. Byrnes looking outstanding tonight.
Jalen Foster, baseline drive.
Another offensive rebound.
Gets
Byrnes.
His own miss, and the putback is good as Jalen Foster adds to that Byrnes lead. It's 46-28, 3:06 to go, and there's a baseline runner and a bucket for the Irmo Yellow Jackets, and Winston Hill, the sophomore.
Yeah, Hill had a solid ball game last week. 6'5 post player, just a 10th grader coming off the bench for Irmo.
On the cutter, Drake Morgan. And he'll be going to the line.
You know, it's not that Byrnes has a tremendous height advantage. Their bigs have just been a little bit quicker around the goal and getting to the ball than Irmo has. And I promise you that has not happened at Irmo too many times this year. And Hayden Brown obviously has had a lot to do with Byrnes' success tonight.
Misses the front end. Fans, today's game also available for all subscribers via our mobile website. Just simply log on to NFHSnetwork.com from your smartphone or tablet and check out all the live games or replays from anywhere. That's NFHSnetwork.com.
Trayvon Sweat scored the last bucket for Irmo. He just left the game. Tavon Bond is back in, and R.J. Gunn got a break here in the third quarter as well. He's back in. Irmo's going to have to get the big fella R.J. Gunn going if they're going to have a chance to win.
17-point advantage here for Byrnes with 2:40 to play in the third. Struggling in the post, Irmo, but there's a nice stick back again from Winston Hill, this young sophomore.
Yeah, it's part
of contributing here in the third period coming off the bench.
Part of the future of Irmo basketball. Winston Hill, 6'5", and a sophomore.
Trying to keep Irmo in this. As they trail 47-32 now. Byrnes basketball. Ray Miller wants a three left side. Front rim. Rebound goes down to Irmo. Right side now. Spinning Shaheem Edwards. Can't get the roll, and Hayden Brown dusts off the rebound for Byrnes. Well, handoff left side, Jalen Foster. Foster thought about driving in. Now he kicks it out. Hayden Brown rattles out the three, and Irmo on offense. Thrown to the hole and no whistle.
Yeah, really surprised we didn't get a call there, but, you know, it's championship night. Birch playing for the trophy, and ref decided to let that one go. I thought we'd get a call one way or the other. A lot of contact down there.
Count it for Tavon Blond as he penetrated in on Hayden Brown.
Yeah, Brown had every intention of drawing a charge on that play and just no whistle.
Ray Miller whips it over left side. Thinking about the three is Falter. And then Byrnes wants to slow down the pace just a hair.
Rightfully so. Deep in the third here, Birch. You know, they don't need to be in any kind of a hurry. I don't think you want to take the air out of the ball entirely just yet, but run the final minute of this third quarter down, absolutely, if you can do it.
And that's going to be an offensive foul. Whistled on Drake Morgan for Byrnes. And Emerson, that's just our 7th foul. It's been a very cleanly officiated ball game.
Yeah, we only had 5 fouls combined in the first half, and that's just 7 combined on the two teams here in the third. So it has been a very clean game. And it's made for good entertainment, Birch. You know, not a lot of trips to the line, not a lot of delays in the game. It's just been straight basketball. It's been fun.
Irmo down by 13. Between the legs, Trayvon Sweat kicks it over left side. Now back to Sweat over right side to R.J. Gunn. R.J. Gunn is yet to get into this ball game for Irmo offensively. He's had a couple of rebounds, but has been unable to crack the box score for points. Playing for the final shot of the third quarter as we're under 10 seconds to go now. Left side out to Winston Hill. Tries for the kick out, loose ball. It's going to be over and back.
Yeah, 0.8 of a second left.
Dial up your favorite half-court shot here if you're Byrnes.
Yep, catch and shoot. That'll be all.
Hayden Brown will pull the trigger in front of us. They get the shot off at the buzzer, but way off the mark. So the third period comes to a close with Byrnes leading by 13 points over Irmo, 47-34. We've got the final 8 minutes of championship basketball when we return to Columbia here on the NFHS Network.
Now you can create your own tour of Italy at Olive Garden, starting at $12.99. Choose 3 of 10 favorites to enjoy on one plate, plus unlimited salad and breadsticks. The best tour of Italy is the one you create at Olive Garden.
Welcome back to Columbia. Byrnes leading Irmo 47-34 as we get this fourth and final period underway. It is Irmo basketball, and Emerson, after 3 periods, really the reason why Byrnes is so far ahead is rebounding.
Byrnes absolutely dominating the rebounding battle tonight. 33 rebounds for Byrnes through 3 quarters to just 14 for Irmo. Byrnes has got 18 offensive boards. They've got more offensive rebounds than Irmo has total rebounds, and that's led to a disparity in the number of shots. Byrnes 18 of 46 from the floor, Irmo 13 of 32.
And Trayvon Sweat connects on both free throws. He's got 12 points now to lead the Irmo Yellow Jackets in scoring. Leading scorer on the floor in this game is Hayden Brown with 19 for Byrnes. He came out on fire as Byrnes went on a 9-0 run, and there's 21 points now for Hayden Brown. Beautiful entry pass to Brown, who was all alone underneath the basket.
Brown averaging 12 points a ball game, had 14 last week in the Upper State Championship win over Spring Valley. And, you know, he was the third leading scorer last week for Byrnes. So Byrnes doing it a lot like Irmo has. We talked about it at the outset, Birch. No star caliber players for either of these two teams, but collectively, the sum of the parts, these are the two best teams in South Carolina.
And Hayden Brown, just a junior, 6'4". He's going to gather some attention on the recruiting trail next year, that's for sure. Bottled up at the baseline. Bouvier Howard now a little floater by Miller, and Foster is there for the rebound.
Ray Miller had 19 last week in the win over Spring Valley, including the 5 threes, as you mentioned, and Bouvier Howard had 15. And what a luxury it is when somebody's got an off shooting night, or maybe they're just not getting good shot opportunities, and other players pick up the slack. That is the essence of basketball, Birch. And that's how you can win on a consistent basis when you get play like that. And both these teams have won that way this year.
Another basket by Hayden Brown. He's got 23 now. And another defensive rebound here for Byrnes.
Yeah, Byrnes has just completely stifled Irmo on the glass.
Byrnes basketball leading 51-36. Byrnes is led by as many as 18. Here's Jalen Foster trying to get the friendly roll. Hayden Brown fighting for the rebound, and we've got a whistle. Let's take a look at this last basket here from Hayden Brown, who has 23 points. This is in perfect position.
Yeah, and, Irmo kind of went to sleep right there. You can't give up a layoff off an inbound pass like that. That's a cardinal sin, and I think Coach Whipple would not be pleased with that. But, Brown lulled his defender to sleep and found a gap in there and got himself an easy bucket. Credit to him.
Hayden Brown with 11 points in the first half. He's got 12 here in the second as Irmo gets a much-needed bucket with 5:45 to go. Cut into this lead. It's 51-38.
It's not over yet, Birch, but Irmo's going to have to get something going offensively, and they're going to have to keep Byrnes off the offensive glass primarily. Byrnes has shot and rebounded and shot and scored, and second chance points, major advantage to Byrnes. So Irmo's going to have to limit them to one shot, and then they're going to have to go down and score.
Irmo will extend that zone. Bouvier Howard trying to pick up the screen. Straightaway three by Tyreek Glenn off the right side of the rim. And crashing in over to that Byrnes bench is Irmo's Noah Jenkins.
Second chance points were 16-7 in favor of Byrnes through 3 quarters. So that's a 9-point difference there, and the difference in the game is 13.
Timeout taken. Tim Whipple, 36 years as the head coach, will have to try to rally his team here as they trail 51-38. Let's take a look at the Byrnes Rebels and their road through the playoffs. Round number 1 win over J.L. Mann, 64-43, a 30-point victory over Nation Ford. Then they defeated Blythewood, a very good Blythewood team that came in ranked number 6 in the state of South Carolina, handled them by 20, and then knocked off the number 9 ranked Spring Valley Vikings in a thriller in the Upper State Championship, 69-66.
Yeah, Byrnes running roughshod over to Midlands here. And look who's behind the bench there. Awesome. Good call, Birch. Good eye. I don't know if you can see the gentleman in the black T-shirt seated behind the Byrnes bench facing our cameras. That's Marcus Lattimore, the great running back at the University of South Carolina and former Byrnes Rebel. No. Seated directly behind the Byrnes bench. He was in that last shot, but Birch pointed him out. And that's great to see. Yeah, there he is.
Marcus Lattimore, who has done so much for the Byrnes community, for the University of South Carolina, the city of Columbia, the state of South Carolina, Emerson, especially after the 1,000-year flood that hit not only the Midlands of South Carolina, but the PD area, really affected the entire state of South Carolina. If you think about it, Marcus Lattimore and his foundation, what a job they have done as That's a nice right wing shot by R.J. Gunn for his first points of the game. And Marcus Lattimore, we had his final high school football game right here on the NFHS network.
Yeah, he's one of the all-time high school greats, I think, in United States history. You know, he and Michael Dyer were the top 2 running backs in the country coming out of high school back in 2010. And there's Lattimore. Gamecocks won the SEC East, their only SEC East championship when Lattimore was a freshman. He scored 17 touchdowns that year as a true freshman.
Just a kid from Duncan, South Carolina, so his shirt says. And you know who another kid is? That one right there, bottom right, with the hair.
Hayden Brown.
Yeah. Who has just been lights out crazy. Let's take a look at some of his action tonight.
Here's Hayden Brown. We mentioned he scored 11 of the first 13. Byrnes jumped out to a 9-0 lead tonight. Brown running the fast break. May have gotten hit across the head right there. No call, but not a problem. Partially blocked shot. Brown, first player there, bucket and a foul. And great to see Lattimore here tonight, Burge. Maybe the most beloved athlete in Gamecock history. Right there with George Rogers, the Heisman winner.
Yeah, and he is beloved by South Carolina fans and Clemson fans. You know, everybody in the state of South Carolina, regardless of who you pull for, when he had that knee injury that pretty much ended his career against Tennessee, even the Tennessee Volunteers came out at midfield to give him a hand. 53-40, 13-point lead here for Byrnes, and it's Byrnes with the basketball. Ray Miller wants to dial up another 3, a little short on this one. Ray Miller, one of the 2 wide receivers from that Byrnes football team that will be playing at the next level. As you see the crowd from Irmo High School still cheering on the Stingers. Trying to rally Irmo back into this one. They trail by 13. We're down by as many as 18 at one point. Nice bucket straight away for R.J. Gunn.
There's Gunn finding a little soft spot in the zone, able to hit that foul line jumper.
4 points now for Gunn, all here in the 4th period. 53-42, 3:45 to go. If there's a coach on a basketball bench in the state of South Carolina that can coach his team out of a deficit, it would be Tim Whipple. 36th year, 73% winning percentage. Emerson, 697 wins in his career, puts him 4th all time. As you're looking at Coach Whipple in SCHSL history behind Louis Golden, who coached at Riverside and Southside. Taft Watson, the National Hall of Famer, who coached at Terrell's Bay, and then John Smith, who's still doing it at Great Falls. 943 career wins for John Smith, and 10 state championships.
Yeah, John Smith has got 200 more wins than anybody ever in South Carolina boys basketball history. And Taft Watson is one of the winningest girls coaches in the history of our state, too. He coached both boys and girls, if I'm not mistaken, for a long time, Bert.
Yeah.
So
he's over well over 1,000.
But yeah, John Smith at Great Falls, one of the great people, personalities, coaches in our state. He drove the team bus up until a few years ago, Bert. He's got to have been coaching 45 years or more, and he drove the team bus to every road game until just a couple of years ago, and he's still doing a great job at Great Falls High School, 1A school, longtime powerhouse in boys basketball.
Tony Bryce at the line, the 6'2 senior. He was able to get the roll. And it's just now a 10-point game. Byrnes leading 53-43. Irmo trying to claw their way back into this one. Ray Miller wants a 3 left side. Too long, and here's a big rebound by Noah Jenkins and Irmo. And here comes Irmo left wing. Draymond Sweat, they're going to try a 3-pointer from the left side, and a defensive board for Hayden Brown cleaning up the glass for Byrnes.
Great job boxing out by Jalen Foster. The point guard came back and put a body on Noah Jenkins, who was intent on getting an offensive rebound there. And when your point guard drops back and helps out on defensive rebounding, this is how Byrnes has dominated the rebounding battle tonight. They had a 33-14 advantage in rebounds through 3 quarters.
High school sports fans never miss another game. Become a subscriber to the NFHS Network to watch live event coverage, game replays, and highlights from high school sporting events from across the country. Millions of athletes, thousands of games, one destination. That's NFHSnetwork.com. We are high school. Looking at that Irmo bench from right here in the Columbia area. Byrnes A little farther west on I-26, Duncan, South Carolina, out of Spartanburg County. Irmo out of Lexington, Richland School District 5. Matter of fact, one of the retired jerseys here at the Colonial Life Arena, Emerson, belongs to a former legend that Tim Whipple coached at Irmo. Gamecocks all-time leading scorer, B.J. Mackey. You see that Rebel Nation looking for their first 4A basketball state championship. They won a couple of 3A state titles. 1990 over Burke and 1976 over Butler, and that's it. They've played for the 4A title. This is their third time. Last trip 26 years ago when Jerry Vaughn was the head coach and Lane Fowler was a player. As Hayden Brown, the 71% free throw shooter, will go to the line. Brown would unofficially, I've got him at 25 points right now.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be the captain of the all-hair team, but we certainly have a spot for him. Birch, the more hair you got, the better if you're hoping to make the all-hair team. Although having hair is not a prerequisite for making the all-hair team, interestingly enough. But, yeah, we had a couple of gals earlier in the 4A game earlier tonight that was won by Spring Valley.
Spring Valley getting 26 points from Christian Height to repeat as state champions and give Ann Long another state title in her 40-plus year career, as Hayden Brown knocks down both free throws with 2:27 to play. Byrnes now kicks that lead out to 12, 55-43. Here's R.J. Gunn. Gunn battling in the paint. He's going to put up a left-handed leaner. Fighting for the rebound, Noah Jenkins. And Jalen Foster takes it away, but Jenkins taps it out of there, but out of bounds. Back to the Rebels. And a whistle before Ray Miller was able to square his shoulders and take a shot. And it's going to be Irmo basketball with 2:09 to play. Down by 12. Both teams in the bonus. Irmo with 3 timeouts remaining and Byrnes with 2.
Birch, we talked briefly about Jalen Foster boxing out earlier to help.
Oh, that's a big 3 by Drayvon Sweat. Couldn't have come at a better time for the Irmo Yellow Jackets.
Had to have it. And watch Whipple manage this clock. He's going to use his timeouts. They're going to foul. That's going to be the longest minute 55 you've probably ever seen. And that's all. Irmo got a deflection there.
Lead is under double digits now for the first time since the first half.
Birch, we were talking about Foster boxing out the guard, getting back to help out on defensive rebounding tonight. He had 11 rebounds through 3 quarters from his guard position. Hayden Brown had 9. That was at the end of the third. We're deep in the fourth now.
That's going across the middle on those slant routes. Let's take a look at this big-time three-pointer here from Drayvon Sweat, getting Irmo back into it.
Yeah, Sweat shot it well tonight, as has Tavon Bond. And Irmo's been good from 3 tonight, but there's just been very little points in the paint, and that's all credit to Byrnes' defense. No second chances at all. Very little to speak of for Irmo tonight.
Tyreek Glenn misses, and Irmo comes down with a loose ball. 1:24 to play. Irmo, fadeaway 3, not there, and it's a big rebound for Byrnes with 1:17 to play. 55-46, Byrnes with the lead.
Howard the rebound, and Byrnes calls timeout. Coach Fowler getting a timeout from his bench.
Irmo, you got to feel like they really needed that rebound there, Emerson.
Yeah, and they were going after it. Long shot, long rebound, and it came off kind of awkward. It was a difficult shot, and Bouvier Howard just had the line on it. There he is, number 5 for Byrnes. I can't say enough about the Byrnes Rebels. Birch, this is bad news for basketball fans around the Palmetto State. Byrnes has always been great in football. Correct me if I'm wrong. They've won 10 state titles in football. But, a lot of schools were like, well, we're going to get them in basketball. We may not be able to beat them in football, but we can always get them during basketball season. And that has changed as of tonight. Byrnes, this is a very complete Byrnes team. Coach Lane Fowler, a Byrnes graduate in his 6th year at the helm of the Byrnes program, is on the verge of putting Byrnes on top of 4A basketball.
Yeah, and at one time Byrnes was at the top of the class in high school baseball in Class 4A, made a couple of runs at the state championship with Daniel Gossett, Reed Rollman, and some others that went on to play collegiately and professionally. That's going to be an over and back against Byrnes. That is a costly turnover. Emerson that did not take any time off the clock.
So Noah Jenkins will put it in here. A 9-point ball game, 1:09.
Look for Sweat here to try to pull a trigger on a 3-ball. He's been the hottest shooter from downtown. He and Bond. And it is Tavon Bond on the handle, being guarded by Bouvier Howard.
Irmo's got to be thinking 3, but I don't think you want to just chuck one up just for the sake of taking a 3. You got to get a good look.
And Tim Whipple,
yeah, he got the timeout.
Called the time. He wanted his Yellow Jackets to put up that shot a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I think he was worried they were going to put up a difficult 3, so he got the timeout called here. So they're going to try to come up with a set piece here, a set play, and get an open look from 3. With the 3-point shot, it's a 3-possession game. They're going to need Byrnes to either turn it over or miss some foul shots. But stranger things have happened. Byrnes' game is not over. Although it certainly doesn't look good for Irmo. And, Byrnes very much in the driver's seat. If they hit foul shots here, Byrnes, and don't turn it over, they're obviously in good shape here. But Whipple's going to make this 58 seconds last as long as possible.
And that's who you want to foul right there if you're Irmo, is Jalen Foster, 51% free throw shooter. If he is on the floor, and that's probably what Lane Fowler is stressing right now on that Byrnes bench. And what a story, what a moment this has to be for Lane Fowler. Emerson was a player for Byrnes the last time they made a trip to the state championship. And now he is leading his team as the head coach with a chance to win the school's first ever state championship in 4A basketball. Irmo with 55 seconds to play. They're going to need a 3-pointer. Here's Sweat, or Bond rather, and Bond going to drive in. 5-second violation, he turned it over. Just could not get an open look. That is smothering defense there from Byrnes.
That's how it's been much of the night and all season long for Byrnes. It's crunch time for Irmo, and they weren't even able to get a shot up. It's just incredibly good defense.
Ball tapped out of bounds. It will remain with Byrnes, the 40.7 to play. Spring Valley, the Lady Vikings winning the 4A Girls State Championship earlier over the Lady Gamecocks of Sumter. Tomorrow, be sure to join Emerson Phillips, Stacy Huff, and Tyler Cupp for a full slate of championship basketball. You guys will have 6 great state championship games starting early in the morning with a 1A girls, which will be a fun one featuring Timmonsville and Christ Church, number 1 against number 2, and 2 of the top players in South Carolina, Justice G for Timmonsville and Shayla Bennett for Christ Church. At the line here for Byrnes, Bouvier Howard knocks it down. Puts that lead for Byrnes now back to double digits at 10. It's a 4-possession game. Byrnes Nation fans making the drive from Spartanburg, South Carolina. Might be a wild night at the Beacon Drive-In tonight, Emerson.
I reckon it will be, Birch, and rightfully so. It's been a long time coming for this Byrnes high school basketball program. Longer football power.
Left wing 3 is good from
and we got a 4-point
Sweat
chance here for Sweat. He was fouled.
Fell into that Irmo bench.
Oh, that's exactly what Byrnes does not need. Here they are up. They were up.
And Emerson, how about this performance by Byrnes, doing it without 6'4" senior Christian Itel on the bench with an injury, averaging 11 points and 6 rebounds per game?
Yeah, Itel will go to the Naval Academy. I believe that's his plan after high school. We talked about him early in the game. Birch, a stress fracture in his foot. He's been out for a while. He did dress tonight. We weren't sure if he'd be able to play, but he has not gotten into the game tonight. But he's been a key player for Byrnes all year. They're going to win the state championship with him on the bench tonight. But he's been a key contributor all year.
This is very reminiscent of that Wando team that came in here a couple of years ago to win Wando's first 4A state championship. What a performance we have seen from Byrnes. Emerson, they got started on a 9-0 run led by Hayden Brown and just dominating on the glass. Offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds, just not giving Irmo a shot. Total, really, team performance here tonight from the Byrnes Rebels. And Hayden Brown making a name for himself, that's for sure. But, you know, he got a lot of help from Ray Miller with a couple of big three-pointers. Tyreek Glenn with some inside shots. Jalen Foster with some big rebounds. And some terrific work inside for the 5'11" point guard. 5 seconds to play. Look at there, another rebound on the other side to Byrnes. Jalen Foster's going to toss it in the air, and the Byrnes Rebels are your 2016 Class 4A state basketball champions as they knock off Irmo 57-50 behind a big night from Hayden Brown and a supporting cast of Jalen Foster, Bouvier Howard, Ray Miller, and Tyreek Glenn, and Drake Morgan making contributions off the bench. And the Rebel Nation, they were ring chasing tonight, and they will be sizing one up when they return to Duncan, South Carolina.
Just an incredibly impressive performance, Birch. They came in with a game plan tonight. They executed it to a T. The hot start really helped Byrnes. Hayden Brown scored 9 of the first 11 of the first 13, and a 9-0 Byrnes run to begin the ball game. And that rebounding advantage, again, really the difference in the game. They had a 33-14 rebounding edge through 3 quarters, and it didn't change much in the fourth. Our congratulations go out to Byrnes High School, a championship well earned. And there's the great Marcus Lattimore waving the Byrnes flag.
57-50, Byrnes over Irmo. We'll be back in Columbia in just a moment to hand out the hardware here on the NFHS Network.
Now you can create your own tour of Italy at Olive Garden, starting at $12.99. Choose 3 of 10 favorites to enjoy on one plate, plus unlimited salad and breadsticks. The best tour of Italy is the one you create at Olive Garden.
The Byrnes Rebels celebrating their first ever 4A basketball state championship as they knock off the Irmo Yellow Jackets 57-50. 2 players for Byrnes, Emerson Phillips with double-doubles. Jalen Foster, the point guard, with 10 points and 16 rebounds. And Hayden Brown, 25 points and 10 boards as Byrnes out-rebounded Irmo tonight 42-21. Irmo, despite 19 points from Drayvon Sweat, 4 from behind, 4 3-pointers. He was 4 of 8 from the 3-point arc. And Irmo getting 11 points from Tavon Bond, but again, out-rebounded 42-21. And a hot night for Hayden Brown, Jalen Foster, and Ray Miller hitting 3 3-pointers for 9 points. Bouvier Howard adding 8 points and 4 rebounds for Byrnes. And Coach Lane Fowler a player the last time Byrnes made it to the state championship back in 1993. They came up short against Ray Allen and the Hillcrest of Dalzell team.
Yeah.
But here's a coach. He's celebrating. He'll hoist that state championship trophy as you look at Tim Whipple and his crowd. You know it's got to be a tough night for those seniors.
Tough night for Irmo. They're accustomed to getting here. They're accustomed to winning. But they had a fine season, and, 24-4 coming into tonight. Birch, they were the number 1 ranked team in the state, and it's a very well-respected program, obviously, because of the kids that have come through the program and because of that man in the middle right there, Tim Whipple. 35 years a head coach here in South Carolina, 697 career wins. I know that his team was really hoping they'd get him 698 tonight. It would have been a 6 state championship. He'll stay at 5, tied for Markoff from Gaffney. And, Irmo, even though they're state runner-up, Birch, they continue to set the bar for high school basketball in our state as the commissioner, Jerome Singleton, brings out the runner-up trophy.
So Irmo will finish the year 25-5, the lower state champions. They gave it all they had tonight. They trailed by as many as 18 points to Byrnes, and it cut that lead to 9 late in the fourth period, but unable to pull away or draw any closer. And Byrnes wins 57-50, and now they will receive the 4A state basketball championship for the first time in school history. They'll place it by those 2 3A state titles. Boy, I would have loved to have been in that locker room to hear that pregame pep talk from Marcus Lattimore.
Yeah, this is just a great story here. Lane Fowler, Byrnes graduate, and he's got a great story to tell. His team was state runner-up when he was in high school at Byrnes, lost to Ray Allen and Hillcrest Dalzell, and now he gets to raise the championship trophy. Birch, I would think winning the state championship at your alma mater, first state title in 25 years. It's got to be a very proud moment for everybody at Byrnes, and particularly for Coach Lane Fowler and these young men that have earned this championship and will be taking that trophy back to the upstate. What a season.
Your 2016 4A boys state basketball champions from Duncan, South Carolina, the Byrnes Rebels. They finish the year 25-4 as they knock off Irmo. Don't forget to get your DVD keepsake copy of tonight's event. Just click on the blue, get the DVD button directly under your event in the video player, or click on the Buy a DVD button on the top right-hand corner of the NFHS Network website. What a start to the basketball weekend of champions here in Columbia, South Carolina at the Colonial Life Arena. For our fantastic crew, for my wonderful broadcast partner, Emerson Phillips, my name is Birch Antley, saying so long from Columbia. We will talk to you next time right here on the NFHS Network.